So I'd like to start off by apologizing for yesterday. Things just got a little tied up with the baby. She's been a little fussy lately. I got the wife to watch her for a little bit. So this will probably take about 20-25 minutes just to go over. I did material from yesterday and for today. You'll see today I got my cheese head on. This is our hat for the day and our drink for today. This is a banana, strawberry, pear, grape smoothie. Trying to be healthy with a splash of alcohol to combat the COVID. So, just to get one thing clear right now, that there is no conspiracy. This is the envelope that I'll be drawing from. This is a one-of-a-kind envelope. There's no way that I would be able to make the exact handwriting at the same time. You compare for past videos that this still has my signature on it. So there you go. And see that little dot right there? That, I don't know how long it's been there for, but yeah. So hopefully that clears up everything. That my pick is still my pick. That's in the envelope that I'll be taking tomorrow. I know I'm excited for the draft. I hope you guys are who have picks. So what I was going to talk about yesterday was this little segment, if I owned your team. So if I was the owner of each of your individual teams, what I deem would be a major need and a minor need. Kind of like O.J. Simpson's book, If I Killed Nicole, this is how I would do it. Well, if I owned your team, this is what I would do and how I would do it. I started off with mine, which is, I just wanted to start there. So I identified my major need. Crabs need another running back who can put up steady numbers. About 10 to 12 points a game should do it. Think like a Lamar Miller type running back. Nothing flashy, but gets the job done. With strengths, with either quarterback, wide receiver, and tight end, an RB1 is not necessary, but if one comes along at a good price, they should look into it. Look for them to address the needs during the draft. Maybe that's a hint of what I'm going to be taking. Minor need, depth. Crabs are weak at running back depth. They need to find at least one or two scat backs if they want to compete all season long. Bye weeks will kill them. They're about 1 or 2 injuries away from giving up the position advantage weekly. Depth can be acquired via draft or the free agency. Next, I went into the book club. When I identified the book club, that major need is to get a high-end quarterback going into this year. With Gardner Minshew, Bridgewater, they won't really scare opponents going into week to week. I wouldn't be really bothered by them too. They probably could boom, but I'm not afraid of that. Yep, they can get by and feel the full lineup, but if they want to win weekly, they need somebody who can put about 16 to 18 points weekly with a good floor. That'll add some stability. A minor need that I identified with the book club is I look to grab one more wide receiver, maybe one more running back. I would not be happy to start. Who do they have their running back? I put DD. I forgot who that was. Oh well. They got Montgomery, but in a pinch, running back deaths are okay. I mean, you can plug in Howard and hope you get to TD. Penny, I'm sure, won't be ready for week 1. I still like him. He does own an over 5 yards per carry going into his career. So when he does perform, he does get out there and he plays. But a lot of his guys on the team do carry an injured tag, and that would kind of scare me away. Deadly Alliance. Deadly Alliance is lock and loaded at quarterback and at tight end. 2 good spots to have going into a weekly advantage. A lot of things went right for him last year, a lot didn't. Deadly Alliance didn't. Another star player to take the next step into the next tier. A team built to win now, a lot of older players who might be hard to move later down the road. I'd be shopping them. I'll go into their trade a little later. That's what else I'm going to be talking about as well too on this. A minor need, like most teams in this league, the team lacks depth, specifically at running back. I'm sure that's probably what, again, I'll go into that later. Other than quarterback, some youth would be nice too. Kelsey, Jones, I wrote this before the trade. Julio Jones, Witten, Tate are old dudes. Maybe on draft day, for some late early thirds, I try to move Shepard and take a shot to win this deep class. The lips. Major need, I would think that if I was team wide receiver, after Sutton, the core is very questionable. The team has arguably the best running backs going into the year, and I can see why they wouldn't want to move them. They're very strong with the running back position. And I can see why another owner would not want to pay the price for them as well too. Saquon's going to cost a lot. Aaron Jones is going to cost a lot. Jones just got drafted. He's going to cost a lot. So, they're probably not going to go anywhere for a while. Another major need I identified with the Lips is quarterback. I have a feeling that the Jets, they're going to give Darnold like maybe this last year to kind of, see what they can go forward with. If he doesn't perform, I think the Jets will be looking for another quarterback. Same thing with Derek Carr. He needs to perform as well too. Outside of Aaron Rodgers, who's kind of getting up there, their quarterbacks are pretty shaky. Wide receiver too. A minor need, and I'm nitpicking here because I actually like the Lips depth. It's pretty decent compared to most. I would say that they need to improve on the offensive position. I think I just want a better quarterback there. All in all, they're doing a good job for rebuilding to where they're at now. I'd be happy from where I was too if I was them. Kudos, you guys did a good job. Fournette and friends. A major need I would identify is a younger quarterback, but does not really need to address that immediately. The team is built to win now. We didn't get to see the classic Breeze crash of the second half last year because he was hurt the full entire half. Besides that, the roster up and down is pretty solid. Doesn't really need to do much. You can just kind of go into the air and just play it out and see what happens. A minor need I would address is probably a better tight end. Cook, I probably want something better if I was going in for an all-win now. I think Emmanuel, with the acquisition of the Saints with Emmanuel Sanders, he's going to take a lot of targets away from Cook. That's going to lower his floor even more than what it is. He's another boomer bust kind of guy. And this might be overlooked by some, but if I was him, I'd probably want a little more diversity on the team. And what I mean by that is, he's got Breeze, Thomas, and Cook on the same team. Mixon, A.J. Green, Hawkinson, Stafford, Marvin Jones. Some people don't really care about that, and so it's not a big deal, but I like to keep my roster diverse. That's what I would do. Now we go to the fantasy office. Major need. It's a balanced roster top to bottom, enough to beat a lot of lower tier teams, and when a team is weak, has a down week, they're a weaker team. I could see them struggling against a top tier team. I'd be looking for a boomer bust kind of guy for that roster. Typically, I don't like them. I don't really go actively seeking them, but the fantasy office has enough consistent support on the roster where they can support someone like that. They can afford if a guy, will put up 8 points, but then the next week he can put up 30. I think that would give them a pretty good advantage going into the weeks. Think of a guy like Deshaun Jackson. He's pretty boomer bust. If I had that roster, that's someone I'd be targeting just to throw into the flex spot and see where it goes. Minor need. Antonio Brown needs to come back and play. Any value this guy has left, I seriously would ship out. Let that be someone else's problem. I know he's Antonio Brown. When he plays, he's very good, but he is clogging some valuable roster spot. And if someone came to me on draft day and offered me a second, I'd probably take it. Being a win-now team, though, I can see why they want to keep them, but I'd be tired of the guy. Much like Josh Gordon, how long I was holding on the guy for. Picked him up, dropped him. I'm all done with guys like that. I think he's in someone like, remember a while back when people were holding Calvin Johnson, he came back. I think that's the route Antonio Brown's going to go. People are going to hope he comes back, but I don't see it. Next, we're going to go at the first order. He may not think so, but I'd be looking up to upgrade tight end. A guy like Austin Hooper of last year would make a world of difference to this roster. Goddard was a top 10 tight end, but tight ends are very weak. And as you know, my stand on it, after Kittle, Kelsey, Ertz, you can just throw anyone into the mix right now. But if they did get someone who can give you consistent 10 to 12 points a week for the tight end spot, like I said, Hooper of last year would be an example. I think that would take their roster to the next step. Secondly, I'd be addressing the wide receivers. His wide receivers are pretty up there. He's rocking Edelman, couple, I don't know, I can't remember who he has right now, but he's fine at quarterback. He's locked and loaded at running back. But this just comes down to how he feels about it. If I had him again, that's what I'd be doing, was kind of looking to look for another younger wide receiver. Minor need, this was hard because the bench had a lot of high upside guys, and I like a bench like that, who could do very well this year. Next year, I don't know. Sammy Watkins is supposed to be clean right now. He's not out partying, doing drugs, so he might have a nice bounce back year. Same guy like Will Fuller. If he, he's supposed to be the guy there now, But that Texans corpse pretty it's week to week with those guys. Will Fuller carries an injured tag. Cooks is a concussion away being out of the NFL. So Fuller could have some big games. They can have some big games, or they can give you duds. There you go. I would clean up the bench a bit, get a hold of some guys in there who have high upside, and drop some of the cloggers. Run CMC. This is a quietly built, solid team. If I was running it, they have, they have the same blah 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 blah. They kind of have the same roster as like the Bros. They're built solid up and down. A lot of consistency for them as well too. I'd be looking for like a boom or bust kind of guy, just to kind of throw in there into the flex spot. Quarterback, they're struggling that right now. Cam getting the boot. The quarterback spot really hurt their quarterback depth. Picking up Jimmy Garoppolo was really good. He quietly threw for about 4,000 yards in a run-first offense. I think he's going to have a good year. It was a good pickup for them. Maybe look for a boom or bust kind of guy, or a quarterback 3 just to kind of have for bye weeks, or if someone goes down. Minor need. I think this roster has too many handcuffs on the roster. Justin Jackson, Jalen Samuel, Phillip Lindsay, Duke Johnson, Ito Smith. To me, that's just playing it too safe. I understand he wants to be prepared if someone goes down, but that's a lot of roster clogging where it can be valuable depth for rookies. I don't know. Handcuffs are cool, but that's just what they are. Week to week, I wouldn't want to really rely on that. Now we go to team number 9. SOB. If I was them, wide receiver first, wide receiver first, and then running back second, and quarterback third would be my pressing needs. After Golladay, wide receivers are a bit questionable. When he's healthy, he's a star. But after that, the team has no quarterback 3. Hunt's a nice little scat back currently, but Chubb hurts his ceiling and vice versa. I think Hunt hurts Chubb's ceiling, so they're both going to take away from each other, and I think that hurts. Maybe Hunt gets a job next year, but I'd be looking in the draft at a wide receiver, running back, quarterback, fire them. That's kind of what I'd be shopping around for. Minor need. He also falls into the category of owning a lot of handcuffs, but I like his handcuffs a little bit better. Higher upside guys who might have jobs next season. I can see holding on to them, but not all. I'd probably cut bait on Pollard, Love, and Raquel Armstead. I know he was kind of shopping him. I don't think he's the guy in Jacksonville. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he was an undrafted pickup. Not a lot of success rate with undrafted players, so but that comes down to his personal preference. The good thing about SOB is that he does have the draft capital to fix a lot of these pressing needs, so look for him to do some stuff during the draft. Last but not least, Baker's dozen. I could have wrote a whole entire segment on this team, but I tried keeping it down right here. Major need, pick your poison. Wide receiver can use some work. Diggs get moved to, in my opinion, in a downgraded situation. Bills seem like they want to be a run-first kind of team. Allen runs the ball. He likes to spread the ball around a little bit. I know John Brown had a big year. I still expect him to do okay. Beasley will probably take away some of the touchdowns. Look for Dawson Knox to take a step forward. So there's just too much in that offense going on there that I wouldn't mind having Diggs because of the name, but I wouldn't be happy with my wide receiver 1. He has got one good running back in Miles Sanders. This team is in full rebuild mode and needs a hit in the next few drafts to not be considered a bye week. I would wait to the trade deadline to move Big Ben, pending he's healthy on a competing team. I'm sure someone would like to have him, if they're competing and they're just a quarterback away, or maybe a piece. I don't like to list depth as a major concern, but it is here. He has 3 quarterbacks on the bench, 1 tight end that's in a logjam with Gronk and Brady. If I was him, I'd hope he gets traded to get a boost in value, and I'd shop him. It'd be a fun project to take over this team. I do like kind of rebuilding, so I hope Mags has fun with this. Minor need, finding people who want your older players. High value guys based on name players and sell them to the highest bidder. Not a lot of trades asset. Sorry for the weed whacking. It seems like it's one of those kind of days here. I'm going to pause. There we go. I would fish in the FA. That's what I would do, hoping if something hits to shop. Maybe if I lost faith in one of my draft picks, I trade them while their value is still high before it's gone. Sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. The whole risk-reward situation. I don't like to hold on to guys too long, so if, you know, I'm more of a guy of like, what have you done for me now? So I'm gonna pause this and wait for that to stop out, so you're gonna see a couple more videos. So that's the first part of this video.